Relationship tips for understanding men and what they want. Dating advice for women. Men, perhaps the most frustrating of all the beasts. Will we women ever truly understand their thoughts? Is it possible for us to think from their point of view? Should we be careful what we wish for? All jokes aside, perhaps if women start thinking like men, it would make this whole man/woman relationship a bit easier. So, the next time your man does something that frustrates you, try thinking like he does. Rarely do men think about writing us sweet little love notes or cards or sending us flowers. You know, the stuff that we women eat up. So, the next time you get frustrated with your man about his lack of romanticism, remember that men don't always think like this. What do they think about? They may wonder why their sex lives are not too hot. Could the love notes or flowers possibly fix this? You see, they don't sweat the small stuff, including reminding you with cute little things just how much they love you. The reason for their apparent lack of attention to these small gestures is that their idea of romantic is often different than ours. The next time you start to share with your guy that you would love to have flowers sent to you at work, don't sweat it if he doesn't respond to you immediately. He probably has other things on his mind. Plus, he may be researching information about relationship advice just as you are, so give him some time to figure out what women really want. Does your man seem disinterested when you are trying to talk to him about something important to you? Do you feel that you two have a problem and you wish to talk about it? Does he seem less than thrilled when you insist you both must talk about the issue right there and then? Men, more often than not, prefer to keep their problems to themselves and think about them for a while. It doesn't mean your man is incapable of communicating with you. It just means that he would rather process the situation before saying anything. More often than not, a man will want to come up with something concrete to say or a specific solution to a problem, rather than just discussing several different options with you. Though we women think about our problems out loud and wish to discuss every little aspect of an issue, that doesn't mean men have to do the same. When it comes down to communicating, give him some space. When he is ready to talk to you about an issue, allow him to approach you. Remind yourself that you are two different creatures, and when it comes down to it, men and women often have a very different style of communication. Don't be offended when you don't get exactly the response you would expect or desire. Let's say you come down the stairs modeling your sexiest dress for summer and you notice a smirk on your man's face as he is staring straight at you with that sexy grin of his. You instantly begin thinking that he must be in deep thought about how hot you look and how he is the luckiest man alive to have even met you. Then you glance over your shoulder and notice the game is on. That smirk on his face wasn't even for you. You start to get angry, wondering how he could not notice you in this dress. After all, you are looking good. Ladies, don't let it get to you. This is why understanding men is important in relationships. That might have been a rather extreme example, but men are not always going to respond to something the way we hope they would. Don't take it personally, just remember that men don't always think about things like we do. They sometimes forget, as we sometimes do, that what they see as relatively trivial is often more important to us. It doesn't mean that he doesn't adore you or that he thinks you look horrible in the dress. It just means that your gorgeous new dress may have to wait until halftime of the game to get the attention you feel it deserves. Let's talk sex and the man's way of thinking. Okay, ladies, I know this may be a sensitive subject. Remember that old rumor that came about in many dating advice for women columns? It said that men think about sex every 7 seconds. Well, it is just that, a rumor. According to the Kinsey Institute, 54% of men think about sex once or several times a day, 43% think about it several times a month or at least once a week, and 4% think about it only once a month. So while we ladies were under the impression that men only have a one-track mind about this particular subject, we were most likely mistaken. The next time you complain that your husband or boyfriend only has one thing on his mind, you may want to think again about what you are saying. Most likely it isn't true. Just keep in mind how great it is that your man can't keep his hands off you. For him, it's likely one of the most profound ways of expressing his love for you. What men want isn't easy to figure out. The next time you are upset with your guy, try thinking about it the way he would. Use these relationship tips to remember some simple ways men think and apply that knowledge in your relationship. It may make life much easier. Quick tips: a man may not immediately notice your new haircut. Remind yourself that haircuts aren't as important to him. Men may not notice things around the house to clean. It isn't necessarily because he doesn't want to pitch in and help. Sometimes it's honestly because he doesn't think the house is dirty.